Megillah Esther, Torah Megillah Esther, Beit Tzadik Ches, middle of the second column. Okay, now the Rebbe began the Maimer with the Gemara that said the person is obligated to get drunk in Purim. So he says, why is the Simcha of Purim greater, which is only rabbinic, than the biblical mitzvahs? Because we know by Yom Tif it says, the Rambam says the Bezin would send out shluchim, make sure the people didn't get too drunk on Yom Tif. But Purim, it's a mitzvah to get out of the yada. So then he starts explaining that it says, "V'kibla Yehuda mitzvah sheichel lasis Purim." They accepted what they willingly did. So he says, "L'cha'era Purim, they were also forced by Achashverosh. So what's the difference between the mountain over the head to force him to accept Torah and Achashverosh?" So he says we need to understand what Matan Torah is. So he says, he quotes the Gemara and says, "Fortunate is the one that comes to Gan Eden with Talmud b'yadai," meaning the mitzvahs that deal with Gashmias. Okay? So he starts explaining like this. The Inyan is, Torah is called Mashal HaKadmeni. What do you mean Mashal HaKadmeni? Mashal HaKadmeni means a mashal, which the purpose of a mashal is to bring down a seichel into a lower level. Right? You want to teach something to somebody, you need to have an analogy, a mashal, a parable to make it understood. Kadmeni refers to Hashem, not the level of Hashem, which is Seviv Kol Almin or Mamala Kol Almin, or all of those are connected to world. Kadmeni means the essence of Hashem. So Torah is called Mashal HaKadmeni, that he brings down the essence of Hashem. This is where we're up to now. So he says now, okay. A little in the second column, a little bit above midway. He says, "Kihine basaga satera," in understanding of Torah, yashribi madreges ein ketz b'ilu yarcha ilu. In the understanding of Torah, there's infinite levels, because Torah is Hashem's wisdom. If Hashem's wisdom is infinite, then you have infinite different levels of understanding of that Torah. Like for instance, the understanding of the lower Gan Eden, the lower Gan Eden, understanding of godliness, that's what Gan Eden is, has no comparison to the understanding of godliness in the higher Gan Eden. The understanding of godliness in the lower level of Gan Eden, compared to the understanding of the higher Gan Eden, is only like a mashal compared to a nimshal. I'll Rebbe is saying like this: Torah has infinite levels. Just like Gan Eden, you have infinite levels of understanding of godliness. You have the lower level of Gan Eden, which is nothing compared to the higher level of Gan Eden. And in each level, you have infinite levels. You even have a level higher than Gan Eden. Even higher than the higher level of Gan Eden. Because Gan Eden is in the world of Bria. There's even understanding greater.
How could Gan Eden would have a level? Isn't Gan Eden higher?
Gan Eden means a level of understanding godliness. That's what Gan Eden is. Now, you can have different levels because godliness is so infinite. You can understand level A and level B and level C and level D and really there's infinite levels of Gan Eden because the revelation of godliness is infinite. So how many abilities is there to understand that level? There's infinite abilities.
Gan Eden is really nothing.
It's nothing. It's not up there. There's a world where people are sitting and enjoying themselves. It's a spiritual level of feeling godliness. When the neshama passes away after 120 years, the neshama leaves the body. It goes up, right? That's what they say. It goes up to Gan Eden. It goes in an elevator. It goes an escalator. It goes a rocket. When it goes up. So it's not. We're using physical language for spiritual entities. When you want to say somebody is very kind, you say they have a big heart. Or somebody is very smart, you say they have a deep head. right? Now a pit, you measure an ocean, you measure the depth of an ocean or a pit with how many feet, how many miles, okay? When you say somebody has a very deep head, it doesn't mean it's 20 feet deep, 30 feet deep. It's the expression, it's a physical expression meaning something else. Now, when you say the neshama goes up to Gan Eden, the neshama is not as something tangible that goes and comes. It's a spiritual level of understanding. So when the neshama leaves the body, this spiritual entity is not any more limited by the physical body, which limits and constricts how much godliness it could feel. So now the neshama is not limited, right? It goes up to Gan Eden. Now, based on how many Torah mitzvahs it did in this world, how much Torah learned in this world, that's how greater that neshama became, and therefore it's able to understand a greater level of godliness in Gan Eden. But we have to, as the Tzemach Tzedek uses the expression, la'afshet advorim migashmiyusam. We have to take out all these expressions in Chazal and Chassidus to remove it from the physical aspect of it. We're picturing, go up there, okay, so Gan Eden is 20 miles up, you know. If you take a rocket, you bump into Gan Eden. I mean, that's the way people picture it. Or you say, they're going down under. They say, hell, Ganem is down under. It's down under, what do you mean that? It's not 30 feet deep.
What happened to Adam and HaKadosh Baruch Hu throw him out of?
He was in the physical Gan Eden at that time.
So
There was a physical Gan Eden. Hashem vayinicheu Gan Eden. Hashem put Adam Rishon in Gan Eden. At that time, the Kedusha of Gan Eden was in the world. It was felt. But then the sin caused the Shekhinah to leave.
What about this fact?
What? What does it mean? The neshama goes up and then comes back down in the guf again. What does it mean? It takes an elevator.
So where was he?
Huh?
They say he spent 2 years
In Gan Eden.
What Gan Eden?
In a spiritual level.
So he was just...
He's just a spiritual entity, like Moshe Rabbeinu and Har Sinai. Yeah. That's why he didn't age 2 years. Huh?
He didn't age?
No. This answers the famous question. It says that Yigdul Na'orim, when Yitzchak and Yosef, as little kids, they weren't noticeable, good and bad, you know, the little kids. The Yigdul Na'orim, they grew up, so then Yosef became the Rosh and Yaakov became the Tzaddik. Okay? Now, Avraham Avinu was 100 years old when he gave birth to Yitzchak. When Yitzchak gave birth to them, he was 60. Right? Yitzchak ben Shishim Shana B'led Yosef. So when the twins were born, Avraham Avinu was 160. Okay? Now they hid. Esau's evil was hidden for 13 years. So now Avraham Avinu would be 173. Okay? But he died at 175. Why did he die early? Because Hashem told him, you're going to die in a ripe good old age, and he didn't want him to see Esau. So instead of dying at 180 like Yitzchak did, he died 5 years early at 175. But the question is, for 2 years, Esau was bad. Correct? Esau was bad. So the Chazal say, but Esau was bad, so where's the good years? So it says, Esau for 2 years hid it.
He hid
his evil. Okay? So the question is, let him hide it another 5 years and Avraham could live to 180. Right? So this answer, that Yitzchak was in Gan Eden, answers the question. Because Yitzchak in Gan Eden didn't age. So when Yitzchak was 60, 2 years he didn't age, but Avraham Avinu did age. So when Yitzchak had the twins, Avraham was 162. Because 2 years Avraham Avinu was on earth, he aged. Yitzchak didn't age. So when Yitzchak was 60, Avraham really was 162. And then 13 years, and then it made sense right away. He saw the evil. Whatever.
Doesn't it say that Yitzchak came down when he started up?
Yeah.
That means
Does it mean literally he came head first down, it's like with the spaceship landing and the okay, that's what it says, but you have to remove it from the physicality of it. Anyway, so Gan Eden, coming back to the Maimon, Gan Eden is levels of godliness. And he says, I know, like it says, that the holy ones praise you constantly. Like it says in the Arizal, Ma'al Maimon is out tzaddikim ein la menucha. The Gemara says, tzaddikim have no peace, not in this world, not in the world to come. They keep going up and up and up. So the Arizal writes over there that what does it mean? A lower understanding compared to a higher understanding is like a mashal. And when you give an analogy, I'll give you an example. We're learning all over Chassidus that there's a revelation of godliness. So what's the mashal they give? The light of the sun. Right? That's the mashal, like the shemesh. In the sun is completely bottled and become all that stuff, yeah? The mashal of a sun is really concealing the concept of godliness. You're hiding a concept of godliness in the mashal, in the analogy, or the parable, whatever you want to call it. So l'chayre, it limits it. So therefore, a lower understanding compared to a higher understanding is like a mashal. This is what it says in Mishlei, and every aspect of Torah Shlema Mela gave 3,000 mishalim. Al kol davar midivre Torah. Okay, he gave 3,000 mishalim. The pasuk says, "Hainu shadavar azem musik began eden atachten." So he says like this, in the lower Gan Eden you have an understanding of godliness, but in the higher Gan Eden it's a much more spiritual level revelation of understanding, that the lower level of Gan Eden Atachten is like a physical and understanding compared to that higher level of Gan Eden.
Is the Rabbi saying that studying Torah in this world is higher than highest level of Gan Eden?
Sure. You do a mitzvah in this world. Yafa Sha'ach, there's a Mishnah in Ethics of Our Fathers. Yeah? Yafa Sha'ach is b'tshuva ma'asim tevim ba'elam hazeh mikol chay elam haba. Because Olam Haba is a ray of the Shekhinah, and Torah mitzvahs is the essence of the Shekhinah.
So one can study Torah in this world and have a seat right next to Abraham.
Seats are pretty expensive there. Between me and you, I doubt it.
I mean, idea.
No, in Basri Lagani, the Rabbi brings down the Gemara that says that Kol echad ve'echad chayiv leimar, every person is obligated to say, Masi yagil ma'aseh l'ma'aseh aveiser Avram Yitzchak v'Yaakov. Well, will my actions be like the actions of Avram Yitzchak and Yaakov? Okay? Actions, Moshe Rabbeinu put on tefillin the same way we did. No, I can't say that. That tefillin were different. But, okay, Rabbi Akiva put on the same tefillin we do. Moshe Rabbeinu put on the same tefillin we do. The action of us putting on tefillin and Moshe Rabbeinu's putting, the action was the same. There's nothing to do with the kavanah, the intent, the ava, the year, that's way of wacko. So we can't reach the level of Avraham Avinu and Gan Eden because his understanding, like we learned in the other Maimer, he didn't even need Matan Torah because he was such a Rotzev V'Sheif. So you're going to say that when I learn Torah down here, I'm going to be next to Avraham Avinu's understanding? No. We'll be in Gan Eden, but in the earthly department.
B2.
B2.
Parking 2.
No, parking 300 below zero.
Rabbi, maybe a stupid question. Did Moshe Rabbeinu actually put tefillin?
Moshe Rabbeinu actually put on tefillin because they were commanded in Parshas Bo. We say it in You know, when you put on Rashi Rabbeinu Tam Tefillin, Moshe Rabbeinu put on Tefillin. The only question is, our Tefillin have 4 boxes with the 4 parshas of Torah, right? Now 2 are in Parshas Bay, but they got already in Egypt. And Shema and Hayim Shemaya wasn't given until the 40th year. Okay? So the Rishonim discuss those 40 years in the desert, they're obligated to put on tefillin. In Parshas Bay, before the Jews left Egypt, they're obligated to put on tefillin. Right?
The same way with the boxes.
Same boxes, but the Rishonim right, there are only 2 portions, not 4. So physically it was the same tefillin.
How did they make boxes
Same way we do today.
in the desert?
How did they do everything in the desert?
So you had Kaddish and you didn't have Shema?
They had Kaddish Ting Vayya Kviyacha
Yes.
and Shema Vayim Shemaya. They didn't have. It wasn't given until 40 years later.
So they had Kaddish only.
Kaddish and Vayya Kviyacha. It's 2 parts. Yeah.
They said they had Torah on their Moshe Rabbeinu king.
No, king had to have it not on his arm, next to his arm. You had to have a Sefer Torah. King had to have an extra Sefer Torah. But that's, so yeah, action they put on tefillin the same way we do. That's why you could say, well, my actions must say, Yagiu my sai, my actions, when would they be similar to Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov? In action, we could be similar to them. The Rebbe put on tefillin the same way we did. But that's where it starts and ends. The action is the same. Not the intent, not the love, the fear, you know, all that stuff. That's way different.
But action is the highest. Action is the
Because the neshama comes down here into the world for action. Because Hashem wanted a dira b'tachteinim. Yeah, dira b'tachteinim means down here in action. If somebody has a pair of tefillin on the table, and they learn all the halachas of tefillin, and they have all the Kabbalistic meanings of tefillin, but they don't put it on, they didn't get a mitzvah. A simple Jew who knows nothing, just knows I'm doing a mitzvah that Hashem told me to do, puts on that pair of tefillin, he connects to the essence of Hashem.
But when they did it, they were not commanded yet, right?
Yes, they were in Parshas Bay before the Jews left Egypt.
Oh, okay. So they were commanded.
From in Shvi in Parshas Bay. In that all the way to the end, there's 2 parshas. Vayya Kviyacha is a new one. There's 2 parshas there.
action is the higher clearly than speech and thought.
Down here, yes, because that's what Hashem Maiso Yikar, action is what counts.
We ought to be able to get to reach the highest level possible.
Yeah, it's called the Gilui Mashiach. Gan Eden is a ray of the Shekhinah. Mashiach is higher than that's the essence of Hashem. That's why the Mishnah says, Tshuva Maisim Tevim in this world is better than the whole bliss of Olam Haba.
Because of action.
Right, therefore when you learn Chassidus and Kabbalah, we're not into this Gan Eden bit. But a lot of people, okay, you got to go to Gan Eden, you have to do mitzvahs to go to Gan Eden. Why we play with kid stuff? We're talking about the Gilui of Dira B'Tachteinim. Mitzvahs bring the Mashiach. That's why there's the argument, the famous argument between Rambam and Ramban. According to the Rambam, the ultimate is not a neshama in a body. According to the Rambam, it's not a physical ultimate. It's not the physical. Because according to the Rambam, after Tchis HaMesim, the people will die again. Because that's not the ultimate. According to the Ramban in Kabbalah, the ultimate is Tchis HaMesim, the ultimate is Dira B'Tachteinim. So according to the Ramban, ultimate is Tchis HaMesim, Neshama in a Guf, Torah, mitzvahs in the physical world.
And the food, you said the food is not that good in Canada, right?
Food's not that good because nobody cooked for.
That puts more value on this sport because it's action.
But Torah is also action. Okay, weiter. The Hainu Shadova must be okay. David Zaatzmin ben Yeruv Naliyah said that the lower level is only like a marshal, and therefore he had shloishes Allah for madreges al kol davar medivrei Torah. You imagine every aspect of Torah. Shlomo Melech brought it out with 3,000 mishalim, meaning 3,000 levels. In fact, according to Kabbalah and Chassidus, every aspect of Torah has Shivim Panim La Torah, right? 70 ways of learning Torah. Then there's Shishim Ribui Panim La Torah, 600,000 ways of learning every aspect of Torah. And then there's infinite ways of learning Torah. It's every aspect, Kol Davar. And everything, now the Rebbe is saying, every single thing of Torah, Shlomo Melech gave 3,000 mishalim. That means he understood it in 3,000 different ways.
That which we understand is minute.
His understanding was Shlomo Melech's understanding.
No, our understanding is nothing.
Shlomo Melech was the smartest man that ever lived. The Rambam writes in Hilchos Tshuva, not in Hilchos Malach, but in Hilchos Tshuva, the Rambam writes that Mashiach is going to have Chachma more than Shlomo Melech, Nevuah close to Moshe Rabbeinu. Because it says in the Chumash, V'leikam Navei B'Yisrael Kameshe.
It is Moshe Rabbeinu.
Yeah. Moshe Rabbeinu plus. It's a whole different story. Different levels of understanding of Torah. What?
It's not so far reached.
No, not far reached. Not far reached?
Yeah, if you put a chip in somebody's mind,
No.
and he knows everything.
This doesn't mean you learned it.
You know it.
You can have ultimate AI in a computer, it's still not a person. You can't count the computer for a minion.
Not yet.
Even though in Seichel it's way beyond everybody else. Still not. Vinei, Erais, Mechachma, Nafkis, Torah comes to the level of Chachma, which is Markav, Asher, Zechol, Bechinas, Asagas, Anal. So, Torah comes from Chachma. Chachma is the beginning of all understanding. Great Chachma, then Bina and Das. Like it says, Nor Yetzim Eden. Bechinas, Chachma, La Atzma, is the marshal, even Chachma Vatzilis. Okay? Now he says like this, Torah is marshal Akadmaini. It's only a marshal of the essence of Hashem. Where does Torah come from? Torah comes from Chachma. That means Chachma Datzilis is the source of Torah. Right? Now, even Torah is Mashal Akadmeni, even a Torah which is Chachma Datzilis, the highest level of Chachma, is still only a Mashal compared to Kadmeni, of the essence of Hashem. Gam shein sabar chumerum misnas lein katz bechinas chachma. B'chol ha'es sphere sherishis in bechinas chachma is called in Zayiraza Dishma Kadisha. Is only the secret of the whole of the name, like a shem shekarim la'adam, like a name of a person. It's not Negea's essence at all. Mikama kem erin sabar chusherim islabish b'chachmila, like it says Avaya b'chachma. So he says like this, Torah is called Mashal HaKadmeni, which is the revelation. So he says there's infinite levels of a Mashal. Mashal means like Shlomo Melech, 3,000 levels of understanding. And even the highest level of Torah is only a Mashal of HaKadmeni. But this is all, by the way, in the level of Chachma of Torah. then there's even a higher level in Torah.
Yes, I forget.